I found the apartment online. It was cheap. Too cheap for a place that close to campus. But I was desperate. I'd just been kicked out of student housing. And rent in the city was brutal. The ad said, 1 bedroom available, fully furnished. Roommate quiet and keeps to himself. That was perfect. I called the number. A man answered. His voice was soft, calm. Rooms still available, he said. He didn't ask many questions. Just told me the address. Told me I could move in that evening. When I got there, the building was old. 3 floors. Brick. But the outside looked worn. Paint peeling around the windows. But I didn't care. I just needed somewhere to sleep. Knocked on the apartment door. No answer. I knocked again. Still nothing. But the door creaked open. It was unlocked. Inside, it was quiet. The lights were off. I stepped inside slowly. Hello? I called. No response. The apartment was small. Living room, kitchen, hallway. At the end of the hallway was a closed door. I walked toward it. That's when I saw it. A note on the coffee table, written in neat handwriting. Your room is the first door on the right. Please don't disturb me. Rent is due on the 1st. Place it on the kitchen counter. No name. No signature. But again, I didn't care. I was exhausted. I went to my room. Small but neat. Bed made. A little desk. Window facing the alley. I unpacked and collapsed onto the bed. Never saw the roommate that night. Or the next day. Or the day after that. I heard him. His door was always shut. But I heard soft footsteps in the hallway at night. He never went into the kitchen. While I was there, never spoke. Just moved quietly. At first, I thought he was shy. Or maybe just private. But something felt off. It wasn't just the silence. It was the smell. A faint smell that drifted through the hallway. Rotting. Like meat left in the sun. I thought maybe something was wrong with the fridge. Opened it. Nothing. No food. Completely empty. The cabinets too. It was like no one used the kitchen. Except me. One night, I stayed up late studying. It was around 2 a.m. I heard the hallway floor creak. I looked under my door. I saw a shadow pass by. And stopped. Right outside my door. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. And it kept going. I heard the other bedroom door open and close. I waited a few minutes. Then I got up, opened my door. The hallway was empty, but something was different. The air felt colder. Thicker. Like it was harder to breathe. I walked to the kitchen. On the counter was a note. In the same handwriting as before. You left the milk out, but I hadn't. I was sure I put it back in the fridge. I opened the fridge. Milk was inside, still cold. That made my skin crawl. I checked the front door. Still locked. Windows too. The only other person in the apartment was the roommate, who I still hadn't seen. I went back to my room, tried to sleep, but I kept thinking, what kind of person writes notes like that? Why not just knock and say something? The next morning, I decided to knock on his door. Just to say hi. To make it less weird. I knocked. No answer. Again. Silence. But I heard something inside. Not movement. Not breathing. It was buzzing. Like flies. I put my ear to the door. Definitely buzzing. And that smell stronger than ever. I gagged. I walked away quickly. Maybe he was sick. Maybe he was a hoarder. Or worse. I went to class. Tried to forget about it. But that night, I heard something. A knock. Soft. 3 knocks. On my bedroom door. Sat up. Heart pounding. I waited. Nothing. I got up. Opened the door. No. One was there. Just the dark hallway. I turned on the light. That's when I saw it. A dead rat. Right in front of my door. Its body was stiff. Its eyes were gone. Its mouth was open. Like it had been screaming. I jumped back. Who the hell leaves a dead rat at someone's door? I cleaned it up Dot threw it outside in the dumpster. I was shaking, but I couldn't call anyone. I didn't know who my roommate even was. Didn't even have his number. Just the one I called when I moved in. I tried calling it again. Disconnected. No dial tone. Just silence. That night, I locked my door, wedged a chair under the handle. I barely slept. In the morning, I noticed something. The kitchen drawer was open. Inside was a butcher knife. Clean. But the blade was resting on a folded paper towel. Beside it, another note. You should sleep quieter. That was it. I wanted to leave, but I didn't have anywhere else to go. And I still had 3 weeks left before I got paid. So I stayed. But I started keeping a bag next to my bed. Just in case. Then something happened that broke everything open. I came home one day. And the roommate's door was wide open. Flies buzzed everywhere. The smell hit me like a punch to the chest. I covered my mouth, stepped closer. Inside was a room, untouched by time. Dust. Rotting food. The bed was neatly made, but there was something on top. Something under a blanket. I didn't want to look, but I had to. I pulled the blanket back. I screamed. It was a body, or what was left of one. Dry. Mummified. The skin stretched tight over bones. Hair brittle and gray. The clothes matched the ones I saw hanging in the closet days earlier. The face was hollow, but I knew that was my roommate. He'd been dead for weeks, maybe longer, but that made no sense. Who had I been hearing? Who was writing the notes? Who left the rat? I ran. I left the building and called the police. Told them everything. They came, went into the apartment. I waited outside. One officer came out pale and shaking. The body was confirmed, but they said something else. The apartment had only one key, only one name on the lease. The man who placed the ad, the man whose body was in that room. He died a month before I moved in. I asked how he could have posted the ad. They didn't have an answer, but the number I called, they traced it. It had been disconnected for over a year. They told me something that still haunts me. When they checked my room, they found more notes. Under my pillow. Taped to the back of my desk, stuffed into my shoes, all written in that same neat handwriting, some I'd never seen. One of them said, "I'm still here." I moved in with a friend that night. I didn't take anything with me. Not the clothes, not my laptop. Not the books. I couldn't. Everything felt poisoned. Haunted. But it didn't end there. I started seeing things. In reflections. In windows. In mirrors. A figure. Thin. Gray. Just standing. Watching. Sometimes behind me. Sometimes across the street. Always still. Always silent. I'd blink and it would vanish. But the air would stay cold, like something had been there, like it left behind its breath. One night, I was walking home. I passed a dark alley. I heard a whisper. Soft. Close. Right in my ear. "You're in my room." I turned. No one there. Just empty space. But I knew that voice. I'd heard it once. The first time. I called the number on the ad. That calm voice. Soft. Too soft. I ran home, but the feeling followed. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the body. Dry. Bent. Silent. But behind the silence. Anger. As if I'd broken something sacred. Entered a space not meant for me. One night, I was staying at my friend's place. He went out, left me alone, and the notes came back. One under my pillow, one inside my backpack, one in the fridge, all in that same handwriting. "You left again. This isn't over." And one that froze me. "Check under the bed." I didn't want to, but I had to. My heart was hammering. I bent down, lifted the blanket. Nothing. Then I saw it. A scratch on the wood, letters carved deep. 4 words. "I never left here." I backed away. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Picked it up. Silence. Then breathing. And then a whisper. You're still mine. I dropped the phone, smashed it against the wall. It shattered. The line went dead. But the breathing didn't stop. It came from behind me. I turned. No one there. Just the window open. Curtain swaying. But I never opened it. That night, I slept in the bathroom. With the lights on, door locked. And even then, I felt watched. The next morning, my friend came back. I told him everything. He looked at me like I was losing it. Maybe I was, but then he saw the notes. He picked one up. Held it. His hand shook. This wasn't here yesterday, he said. He believed me. He called a priest. A young guy. Calm. Wore black. Held a cross like a sword. He came that afternoon. Sat down with me. Listened. Then he asked one question. Did you invite him in? I didn't understand. He repeated it. Did you invite anything in? A presence? A voice? I told him about the call. About how I answered the ad. He nodded. You didn't move into his apartment, he said. He moved into you. That sent chills down my spine. He walked around the room, said prayers, sprinkled holy water. He stopped suddenly. At my bag. He reached in, pulled out something wrapped in cloth. I hadn't seen it before. Unwrapped it. Inside was the same pen used in the notes, and a tooth. Human. Brown at the base. He gasped. Told me to get out. We left the apartment. He burned the cloth. And the pen. Buried the tooth in consecrated ground. But even then. It didn't stop. The notes kept coming. But now they were different. Angrier. Double quotes. Traitor. Thief. You wore my skin. One night, I found a note on my chest, pinned to my shirt. I'd locked all doors. Windows shut. I slept on the couch. And still, it got in. The note said, roommates share everything. Then another appeared in the mirror. Even death. The priest returned. He said it wasn't a haunting anymore. It was an attachment. Something had clung to me, fed on me, followed me, because I crossed into a place I shouldn't have, slept where death still lingered. He performed a rite. An intense one, said Latin words, made me repeat after him. Then he held my head, forced me to say something 3 times. I am not your guest. I am not your home. I am not your host. After the 3rd time, the lights flickered, the floor creaked, the air turned to ice. Then silence. Heavy. Final. It felt like something let go, like a hand unclenching around my soul. For the first time in weeks, I slept without fear. The next morning, the priest was gone, left a note. His handwriting. Asterisk. Just 4 words. He won't return now. I moved to a new city. New job. New place. I tried to start fresh.